Biafran can now host their flag in Nigeria. Unrepresented Nations and Peoples Organization (UNPO), an international body in The Hague, Netherlands, and saddled with helping unrepresented and marginalized nations of the world to make a case for independence before the United Nations (UN), recently admitted the Yoruba and Igbo nations into its fold as the 45th and 46th members, respectively. A renowned historian and leader of Yoruba World Congress (YWC), Professor Banji Akitoye, whose team championed the admission, spoke to Dare Adekombi on the implication of the development for Yoruba nation's relationship with Nigeria. The case made before the world body, among other things. U team in the diaspora worked hard to get the Yoruba nation admitted as the 45th member of the UNPO. What does this development mean for the Yoruba? It only provides protection for the Yoruba nations. We are part of Nigeria now, and this admission into UNPO protects us now. It means the things we have a right to do, but which we have not been too courageous to do, we can now do. For instance, we set up a Amotekun to defend ourselves in Yoruba land. The federal government was saying it was illegal. If we have been admitted into UNPO by that time, we would have gone to the international community to defend Amotekun, and we would have had a very strong support there. If we want to strengthen our culture by now, amending the federal law about education, and we want to teach our history in our schools, we can now do so without any molestation, or if we are molested, we now know where we can go for reprieve. Ultimately, peoples who join UNPO are indigenous peoples in larger countries and who have concerns and fears about their nations and who need help for advocacy and support abroad. So that you have a body like UNPO, which is peopled by those who have the expertise and the image to take our case before the United Nations and to guide us on how to put our case together before the UN, the African Union, and so on, and get results for us. Our admission into UNPO goes so far. For instance, we live in a country where our progress has been impeded continuously since 1962. We can now really resist that and find an answer to that and not continue to be part of Nigerians' retrogression and decline on the international scene. We can take part in sports without being part of the Nigerian team, and we can promote our culture abroad without any fear of being impeded by Nigeria. So, it is a very large thing that the Yoruba nation stands to gain from this. And ultimately, when the time does come, our people, as long as we conduct ourselves peacefully, which is a condition from UNPO, can say they want to hold a referendum to determine what they really want. Some countries that were members of the UNPO have achieved their independence and become members of the UN through the help of UNPO. What kind of argument did you canvass to UNPO officials that made them admit the Yoruba nation as one of its members? For the Yoruba or any other nation in Nigeria going to the UNPO and making a case is very easy. The world knows what is happening to the Yoruba nation in the Nigerian Federation. First, we said we are an indigenous people, a nation with our own language, homeland territory, culture, history. The world knows these things to be true, and nobody could say no to the argument. The second thing is we are an indigenous people who are being denied the fullest of our lives. That also can't be contradicted. The world knows Nigeria is brutalizing its nationalities. At some point, the federal government banned the teaching of history in our schools. The people who are listening will say in this modern world, teaching of history is banned. The federal government dictates the standard of education and sets up all sorts of bizarre organizations to unify education. The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB, and so on. They asked, where is your own federation? We said there is no federation. They call it a federation, but it is not a federation. We can go on and on. Our culture is under attack. People are coming from other parts of the country to brutalize our farmlands, and many of our farmers are abandoning farming altogether. So, making a case before UNPO is very easy for all peoples in Nigeria who are ethnic groups, because what is happening to other ethnic groups is the same. Everything is being dominated and controlled from Abuja. One of our young governors, after serving for 8 years, made a very significant statement which people don't seem to listen to. He said, anybody who is a governor of a state and calls himself the executive governor of the state is deceiving himself, the people, and the world. All governance is decided in Abuja. There are federal roads in the states, and these roads get bad, but the state governors can't touch them, and if they do, the federal government would reimburse them. So the state governors don't touch the federal roads, and the federal roads are strangulating us. When we told that kind of story to them at UNPO, they said, really? People are shocked about what is happening in Nigeria. So getting the membership of an organization like UNPO is pretty easy. Thank you for listening to this news. Wow, that is great. This is another step to the top. Biafran Republic is appreciating and getting upgraded by the day, courtesy of the Biafran leaders, Mazin Namdekano and Ralph Waziriki, and every other Biafran leaders around. I really appreciate your individual contributions and effort to the development and growth of this great republic. This shows how serious you have this republic at heart. This is this is what your predecessors did. The struggle your predecessors took. Why on the struggle? Now you have taken it up from them. I really appreciate that. Though I'm not a Biafran, but I've been following up and I've been seeing your positive moves. So it's a great one. You keep it up, right? So my fellow Biafrans, without much to say, I would say that you give your support to these great leaders as the actualization of Biafran comes to pass in no due time. So what's your comment concerning this? Please don't forget to leave them behind. Click on the subscription buttons as well as bell button to get updated anytime we upload new videos. Thank you.